All right, welcome back. This has been week number 2, so this is the second podcast. I know this guy looks similar to the last one because I recorded the last podcast after I already started working on him a little bit more, but she has changed a little bit. And this week, I did, go in a little bit deeper on him, kind of change his expression, added the goggles, went a little bit more into kind of like snowboarder goggles to where there's something he puts on and it is this special view, this VR view or this special colored lenses or something like that to where it's his dream that only he can see. And that's your prescription. Now, with this one, the borrowed lenses I've been having trouble with because I've been thinking about a lot of different things to where I wanted to push myself and make sure that, I said, I'm not crazy about this character, but let me give it a little bit more time. Let me play with her just a little bit more and see if I can bring something special. She has some interesting things about her, but she isn't quite there yet. And then as for the glasses, one of the things I was thinking about is what if I did maybe a thicker paper like a Bristol board or something like that and actually cut it out of white paper and actually did the red and blue lenses that could just sit on top of her face. I took the clay and I was thinking, what if I had, added a little bit more clay and did almost like a visor that kind of went into her hair? But then I was like, what if I did them out of paper because that's what those glasses are anyway? And then just kind of have it slide into a certain notch that's in the sculpture. So that's another idea that I'm kind of toggling with, playing with, and seeing if that's an option. I went a little bit farther, added her hair, kind of pointed her ears a little bit to kind of give it more of a creature appearance. However, it still isn't speaking to me. But you know what? That's okay because I'm still going through doing the work and exploring. So even if I spent this amount of time on this sculpture and I decide I don't like it, that's okay. I can go after and start sketching a new one. And that might happen next week because I want to give this some more time to kind of sit and think about it. And then next week I will come back and take a look at her and say, do I want to, is she speaking to me? Do I want to do something with her? Because when I put her next to my prescription glasses, it doesn't feel like a set yet. Like my analysis paralysis and my Mr. Hyde, they kind of went together. They had something drawing them together. My perfection and my Frankenstein, perfectionism being really tall and proper, whereas Frankenstein kind of being a little bit silly and goofy and moving around a little bit more active. With the author and the scribe, doing the same as trying to get to be the same character, and both of them are kind of listening to the same voices or similar voices. However, it's just affecting them differently with the scribe just closing her eyes and blindly listening, and then the author being alive and making up her own thing and kind of making up her own definition of what she hears. But these two, they're not quite fitting together yet. Now, I do think that this is a cool, interesting looking character, and that, like, the folds, the wrinkles, gives it some life, and it does the job of when, you put these big glasses on, it just covers all of that. It makes everything that is interesting and special about her, in even just in this sculpture, it just takes that away. And so it does the job. The borrowed lenses just take away your independence, your uniqueness, your specialness. And that's what it does. So this has been week 2. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I want you guys to start creating your own characters. It doesn't have to be a big portrait. If you want to go all in and try this, do it. I would love to see it. If you guys just want to do a little smiley face or a little emoji that kind of gives you the idea and you start really bulking it out and making it into a character, awesome. I want to see that too. But just spend 5-10 minutes just thinking about You know, what are some of the dreams that you had when you were younger, or that you still have, or that you kind of put on the shelf? And are you wearing your own prescription glasses, or have you been fooled and pushed into wearing shared, different lenses, somebody else's lenses, a borrowed lens from somebody else that society put on you? And, think about when that started happening, and how can you find yourself in a place to where you have the strength to put that down. Just grab some clay and you'll find it. Grab some clay, start playing around with it, see where the clay takes you, and it will help you to dissolve those borrowed lenses, and you'll start seeing something new. I promise. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Go out there, get creative, really have fun with it.